Hey everybody, it's GobletX and welcome back to another Powered Cube draft here on Arena Powered Cube, our chance to draft some of the most iconic and powerful cards in the history of the game and play some really sweet decks. So very excited to hop back into it, so let's do so. For our pack one pick one here, I'm going to grab Reanimate. We have not managed to draft a Reanimator deck yet this time around, and Reanimate is the most efficient way to bring back a creature from a graveyard. You can even bring back a creature from your opponent's graveyard, so this is kind of flexible, but what you want to be doing is finding a very big, very explosive creature like a Vault-Born Tyrant or Overload of the Mistmoors, shoving that thing into your grave and then bringing it back on like turn 1, 2, or 3 to really blow your opponent out and win the game really quickly. So Reanimator decks can be very fun, combo-oriented strategies. I'm going to grab the Reanimate, and luckily enough, we have two options here, Necromancy and Animate Dead. Necromancy can be cast at instant speed if you sacrifice whatever you reanimate during the next end step. So you turn it into like a flash, but otherwise it's basically Animate Dead, but for one more mana at sorcery speed. So you get a little bit of flexibility for one more mana. I feel like just regular Animate Dead is probably better because you usually just want to keep the creature around forever in the first place. They're basically the same card. So I'm just going to go for the cheaper version and grab Animate Dead. We've got a 1 mana way to reanimate, 2 mana way to reanimate, and honestly, off of these two cards alone, we've already got a decent amount of consistency when it comes to being able to reanimate the big stuff from graves, as long as we get some card draw, some card selection to get there. Liliana is an excellent card for Reanimator decks because the +1 ability allows you to discard your Reanimator card while your opponent discards something actually valuable to them. Like you actively want to put cards from your hand into your graveyard because if you drew one of your 7 mana creatures, you're not going to cast it. So you want to shove that in the grave. So Liliana's great here. She also can make your opponent sack creatures, which is very relevant to keep you alive in the early game.
This is my
Very good
home, and
card.
I don't appreciate it when people touch my things.
Pick number 4, there are no big creatures to reanimate and there are no black spells. So we have to delve into a second color here. Do we want some really cheap interaction like Daze that can stop our opponent from like casting something really explosive if they didn't hold up enough mana to pay for that? Or do we want to do some green-black ramp weird nonsense with Badger Mole Cub? Probably not. I don't think we really want to be aggro with 2 reanimation spells. We're more combo-oriented. I feel like blue's the better color to pair with your combo-oriented stuff because you have access to a bunch of card draw, plenty of counter spells for interaction, so I'm going to grab Daze there. Pick number 5, Grief is an excellent black spell. Don't mind sticking very heavy to the color. None of these blue cards are that exciting. Triplicate Titan's an okay card to reanimate. I don't think you need to take reanimation targets incredibly highly unless they're really, really good targets, though, because reanimate and animate dead are like some of the most flexible ways to cheat things into play. Some of the ways to cheat things out, like Flash, specifically only work with cards with good enter the battlefield or death triggers. So you need, when you see the cards that specifically have good enter or death triggers, you need to take those. Or if you have Channel, that only works with colorless cards. When you see the big colorless cards, you kind of have to take those. I think Reanimator spells are flexible enough that we can take like Grief over Triplicate Titan, because it's honestly not the best reanimation target. It's solid. You get it onto the board, and if they don't specifically exile it, you get a bunch of 3/3s, but it can be exiled or ousted and stuff like that. There's a lot of other reanimation targets that can't be, because the second they enter the battlefield, they draw you a bunch of cards. So then even if they die, you're way ahead. Take a Narset here towards blue-black. These are not the right colors of duels. I mean, I guess Crypt Breaker is fine. It's another way to discard one of our big reanimation spells, but I like Narset a lot.
There are so
She
many
digs pretty far, and
mysteries
she
to
has good
uncover.
combos with anything that shuffles her hand back, draws a new one. Time Warp is fun. Sephiroth doesn't really do anything for Reanimator. Deceit also doesn't. You have to hardcast this. It's just like a 6 mana play, which I don't think we really care about. We could take like the 1 mana 2/3 Death Touch, but this seems like more of an aggro kind of card. I don't think any of these are super great here, but Time Warp is the funniest at least, so I'll just take a Time Warp. Pick 8, Baleful Strix is actually very solid. Don't mind it. Really good green ramp in this pack. Noble Hierarch and Utopia Sprawl are wonderful cards to ferry for controlling stuff. It's a really good pack for everybody. Pick number 9. There's a Vaultborn Tyrant. I will be much happier reanimating Vaultborn Tyrants than reanimating Triplicate Titans. It's just my personal preference. It guarantees we draw a card when it enters, and it has a very similar death trigger to the other one. Oh, actually, Snuff Out, having 3 ways to interact, even if they're not counterspells, even if they're removal, is pretty sweet. I'm actually going to Snuff Out over Preordain here. And I was taking Preordain over Cryptic because triple blue can be a little difficult, particularly if you end up playing a third color. Right now, we're technically only 2 colors, so I think we could wing it with Cryptic Command if we get enough duels, but there's some risk there to that. But I cut myself off many times. The Vaultborn Tyrant, much like Triplicate Titan, when it dies, replaces itself. So I think Vaultborn Tyrant's just a lot better as a reanimation target. Nobody drafting green in this pod. This is a really, really solid start. 1 pack down. Oh, we wheeled the Cecil. Not even a bad card. There's the Time Twister that combos with Narset. If we have Narset on board and we cast Time Twister, we draw a new hand and our opponent draws nothing. This is an insane pack of cards, though, because Karakas is absolutely ridiculous. Like, half of the creatures are legends, so you just get infinite copies of Unsummon against some decks. That can be really, really hard to get out of. That can be, like, back-breaking. So you play this, even if you're not a white deck, just as a colorless land that hoses your opponent half the time. Like, if your opponent's on Reanimator and they're, like, trying to reanimate Atraxas and Atalis and stuff, you're just like, all right, bounce it. Bounce it, bounce it. Every time they reanimate something. They still draw the cards when they enter, but it can be hard for them to actually finish you off and deal the damage. I think I want to take Karakas here. I think that card is just dumb. This pack is too good. We have multiple cards we want. We are not going to wheel any of them. Force of Negation is another excellent one to have 0 mana interaction up. So Force and Time Twister would also be sweet, but I don't think we're getting them back. I'm just going to take Karakas. Pack 2, pick 2. This is a pretty good pack for us. I'm going to take the Shieldred. I think it's really, really good against more aggressive strategies, just as a nice mid-range card. But Bone Shards is very exciting for Reanimator decks because you can use this as removal that also makes sure that you get your big Vaultborn Tyrant out of your hand and into your graveyard. So Bone Shards is a sweet one too, but fingers crossed, hopefully we can wheel that. Although somebody took Necromancy. If there's not a Shieldred in here, whoever took Necromancy is going to take Bone Shards before it comes back. So that's going to be a little bit of a bummer, but I still think I can't quite justify taking Bone Shards over Shieldred. Shieldred is incredible. Grizzlebrand is a fine card to reanimate, but there's also a good dual land, and we've got restrictive colors, double blues and double blacks. We do need to grab duals highly. Can we take them that highly, like over Grizzlebrand here? I only have 1 reanimation target. I do need a couple more things to reanimate. I probably can't take that over Grizzlebrand. Pick number 4. Karabadon. Lotus Petal. Lotus Petal's really fun in decks that are trying to cheat things out early. But I think we'll be doing everything cheap enough. We don't really need it. Dig Through Time's really good card selection, and Carbomination is like a solid card to reanimate that's also cheap enough to actually hardcast at times. Yeah, I really like Carbomination. Entomb. Put whatever we need into our graveyard. Recurring Nightmare is another way to reanimate cards, but it's one of the less consistent ones. You have to have a creature on board to sacrifice to reanimate something. But what's cute about Recurring Nightmare is that you can do it over and over again. You get to keep replaying it and reanimating more cards, but really just the first reanimation is the most important, and this one doesn't do that unless you have a creature on board to sacrifice. So I think Entomb we take over Recurring Nightmare, although if Entomb was not here, I would probably still take Recurring Nightmare over Thoughtseize. That might not be right, but I would do it. Pick number 6. Damn. Or Woe Strider, Tenacious Underdog, and the Legend of Krook. just like a little aggro creature or a 1-for-1 removal spell that costs double black. I don't think Dam is good if we're not playing a lot of white. And the only white I'm playing right now is Krakus as basically a colorless source. Kind of don't mind just taking a random little aggro idiot. Just gonna grab an underdog. Deep Cavern Bat is good at messing with our opponent's hand, although we do still want more ways to discard things. Jace is a good card for Reanimator. Draw a card, discard a card, discard the card you want to reanimate. Yeah, we take the looter. We could show and tell our Reanimator cards out. The problem with show and tell is that it is one of the worst cards in the entire cube by win rate because there are tons of different ways to try to cheat things into play. So you're going to run into a lot of decks that are also cheating things into play where they will end up cheating something just as big out, in which case you lose, or something bigger than you, in which case you definitely lose. Or there's enough cards in this cube that are like creatures that destroy something when they enter that they could also just like play a solitude and exile whatever you show and tell. Like show and tell is monumentally risky. To where it actually has one of the lowest win rates in the whole cube, so you should not play it. I'm going to play it. All right, pick 10. We did wheel the bone shards. Wonderful. And Preacher the Schism or Flood Pits Drowner or Gloom Lake Verge. Okay, I got to take the Verge at this point. I've taken no duels at all. Double blue, double black. Double blue, double black, double black. Yeah. Come on in, Gloom Lake Verge. This is not an upheaval deck. I'll take a Hedge Mage. Hedge Maze. I mean, we could unearth a Baleful Strix. Probably doesn't happen. I'm just going to take Night's Whisper. Woe Strider. Black is real open. Pack 3, pick 1. Force of Will. Ah, Mox Pearl. Ah. Mox Tolarian Academy. Force of Will. When the pack is too good and you want everything. I mean, Tolarian Academy sucks in this deck. It's just a really awesome card that I love drafting. We can't tell Tolarian Academy here. Is it wrong to want Force of Will over Mox Pearl? Stop our opponent from stopping us from reanimating over getting that extra mana? I mean, the Mox has to be better. I want this Force so bad, but we open a Mox. I take the Mox. Okay, pack 3, pick 2. No blue-black duel. There's not much happening here. Oculus is not good in Reanimator. We do not want to exile anything from our grave. Yeah, it's just a miss for our deck. I mean, we've got enough random aggressive black creatures that we're just kind of looking like a black aggro deck, and then, oh, surprise, reanimate. So we just take another aggressive black creature like Graveyard Trespasser, I suppose. This pack has nothing for Reanimator. Jadar for random aggro. Sure, Jadar. What if I take Yawgmoth and wheel Jadar? And then I have like the creatures to sack to Yawgmoth over and over off of that? Sure. Inquisition of Kozilek's very nice in the opening hand. Consult is really good for decks that need to draw specific cards, though, which is, Reanimator decks, show and tell decks. Inquisition can really stop your opponent from doing some utter nonsense, though. I'm gonna grab Inquisition. Mystic Confluence, Subtlety, Spyglass Siren, and Soul Trader. So Mystic Confluence and Subtlety are the good cards here. I'm just going to take the big counter that draws a bajillion cards if you want it to. The top end spell there. Not really a Blood Artist deck. I mean, we've got Yawgmoth. I could be Yawgmoth, Blood Artist, get a Jadar, try that nonsense. There is a blue-black duel here. There's two different blue-black duels. And there's also a Kaito. I'm going to get a duel. Pick 7. Mystical Tutor, one of my reanimation spells. Puts me down a card, but it can be worth it if we're reanimating a good enough card. Fresh start. Actually, Smuggler's Copter is pretty sweet in here. We have some cheap creatures that can crew it, and this is draw and discard. Super Shredder, Moon Shadow. Let's go Super Shredder. Nothing. Pick 10. We did wheel Jadar. Okay. So, like, black sacrifice deck with some reanimator happening. Maybe I cut Vaultborn Tyrant at that point and show and tell. Just be kind of black aggro with a couple top end cards that I can also cheat out early with reanimator. I probably have enough discard to keep Vaultborn Tyrant in here anyway, but I should cut the show and tell. I did say I was going to play it, but we didn't take any more big things. There was some competition here. Didn't see any Atalia or Atraxa. They could have been in one of the early packs where we saw Mox, and I just completely disregarded them because there were cards like a Mox that I wanted. Soul Trader actually good in like our black aggro sack deck? Probably not. Maybe. Oh, there's the Blood Artist. I don't know, Kaito seems good too, but Blood Artist is very funny with Yawgmoth. Okay. Black sacrifice plus reanimator. Cut a land for a Mox. Then cut 10 more cards. If I just cut a bunch of blue. I mean, can I just be mono black? If that's the plan? Cutting 10 cards. Maybe, actually. Mono black, super easy mana base. This actually looks legit to me. Like a little bit of kind of filler cards like Soul Trader and Woe Strider or whatever, but that just gives me more creatures to do the Yawgmoth Blood Artist kind of plan when we're not reanimating. Yeah, let's just go for it. It seems kind of sick. Mono black this time around. We'll call it a deck here, hop into the gameplay, and see how far this one can take us. All right, here we are on the draw for game 1, where I'm just wishing Blood Artist had 1 power to crew our Smuggler's Copter. Playing against green, blue, red. Corey Steelcutter Urza's Bauble for the 2/2 trample haste right off the bat out of Teamer. The Corey Steelcutter jump scare. All right, Knight's Whisper. We gotta find some stuff quick. Tenacious Underdog and a land. We'll have to discard the hand size here. Land. Could discard Underdog because it can blitz from grave, but need the creatures. Stock up. Please don't double spell again. Be really bad if we see another 0 mana spell from our opponent. Yikes. Both of the 0-mana baubles. Quite the draw. I guess I'll take one more damage to have this token permanently killed. So one more damage this turn to take less damage next turn. Just a swamp off the top. Here's the underdog. Just got completely steel cut out of this game. Because Tezzeret is a double spell again. Turn 2, 3, and 4. 0-mana cards to double spell with Steel Cutter and use all of their mana elsewhere. Just brutally efficient.
This technology is advanced, but exploitable.
Just another land for us. Here's a chumper. Maybe I won't take 8 next turn. Yeah, it's kind of insane how much this was just Corey Steelcutter. There's 0 other threats of any kind that they've cast. I mean, Tezzeret debatably, because if Tezzeret ever gets to 7 loyalty, then he starts killing us. Like, the only pressure they had was this one Steelcutter, but it just did so much work. And then still, it's just more card draw. It's the 0-mana spell again for Corey Steelcutter. This time, another Mox. Alright, they found another creature. They found another threat. They're ravenous robots. Go to 3.
Make yourself useful.
That'll do it. Good work from Corey Steelcutter. It basically solos the game. I mean, it did need the help of like 4 0-mana cards in a row. That was wild. But yeah, Corey Steelcutter just slams all 20 damage into us, and we are 1-0. Sorry, 0-1 heading into game 2. Here we are on the draw again for game 2. Decent opening hand, though. Just run out the Caracas, so if they play any legends, we keep that pressure off of us. Never mind, they have the Wasteland opener. Against the only non-basic in our whole deck. Because that is how Magic's gonna be today. At least we get to Entomb and to Animate Dead here. There's Magda for our opponent. Pick up the most resilient card. Power 4 or greater. Could grief them and make sure they don't have a way to kill this. That's probably worth it. They have a couple white cards. The Seasoned Pyro for red. The College are complete at 7. Okay. Guess Magda gives them 1 white mana if they chump attack. Get their 1 white mana. Use it on Showdown of the Scalds, looking for the other lands. They do hit Confluence and Sacred Foundry and something else. Jadar is really good with Super Shredder. I probably should have held on to Jadar. Got rid of the Bone Shards, maybe. Cyvorus, they can discard a card, draw a card. Lightning Helix was one of their top decks to kill the Super Shredder. Knight's Whisper. Probably want to wait till Shieldred's on board for that. Okay. They are over it. There's the concession from our opponent. Very, very lucky Entomb draw there that really saved us from an otherwise awkward start. The Wasteland on the Caracas there. But we'll take it. 1-1 heading into game 3. Well, here's Jadar plus Super Shredder. Try to get all the counters on that thing. We'll see how this plays out. There's a lot of token stuff going on here. If we find like Yawgmoth. Try out the token half of our deck, the Aristocrat stuff. Oh god. Lion's Eye Diamond is the kind of card you only play if you're trying to do some kind of combo-y nonsense, like playing your whole graveyard in 1 turn. So that's a terrifying card. They're on blue and red, and the 3-card combo is Lion's Eye Diamond, Underworld Breach, and Rain Freeze. That'll just mill our whole library. We have no choice but to die. Like, we have no way to interact with that, so hopefully it's not the Underworld Breach combo. But that is one of the most likely things for it to be with a Lion's Eye Diamond out there. Pretty happy they drew their Library of Alexandria a little bit late here, so it's less likely to draw more cards for a while. They run out of Vivi. I think I'll trade Jadar for Seer Slicer Goblin. And I'm a little sad about it. No, Jadar's too good with Super Shredder. No blocks. Abomination is the draw. Kill VV. Buff Shredder. Attack with the zombie buff Shredder, get a new zombie. Might have been better to just sack the zombie to the Shredder, so that I save more lands to get to Abomination later. But I'm just getting greedy, getting the extra damage and the extra counter on the Shredder. New hands! Whee! It was worth it to discard the card then. If we get a new hand. Wheel of Fortune is very good with Library of Alexandria. As are 0 mana spells. Well, those are good with Wheel of Fortune. Oh, Super Shredder's so happy right now. Oh, they have the Brain Freeze engrave? This is the fastest graveyard trespasser in the West. We'll play Inquisition first to try to stop them from countering it. Spyglass Siren, Generous Plunder, Ravenous Robots. Okay, they can't counter it. So if we just graveyard trespass their Brain Freeze, I don't think they can win. Because at this point, I think we've got a good enough hand and board that their best bet is to combo us out, and they can't combo us out without Brain Freeze. I want to get rid of their Wheel of Fortune as well. That's also scary, but the most important card is the Brain Freeze. We get rid of that first. Oh, they accidentally played out of 7 cards in hand. They lost their library draw for the turn by playing Mox Opal first. Hello, Grizzlebrand. Play Soul Trader and Underdog. So they cannot possibly block Super Shredder well. I guess if they block with like their entire board, they could theoretically. Seven power. We can stop that easy. Super Shredder's kind of fun in this deck. That's wild stuff. Time Walk. Oof. Okay. Take one. Soul Ring. My lord, their deck is crazy. Mox Jet, Soul Ring, Time Walk. For power, Library of Alexandria. Wheel of Fortune. They have the Underworld Breach combo with the Brainstorm, or the Brain Freeze. Okay, just Spyglass Siren, that's fine. I don't need to sack the treasure. Consult the star charts to dig for the Underworld Breach. I think we actually lose the Underworld Breach because they have Time Walk as well. And obviously I couldn't exile it because they just played it. So they can go Underworld Breach, Lion's Eye Diamond, combo for like infinite mana, and then basically play everything in their graveyard and Time Walk and then kill me with it. Kill me with all the creatures from their grave. God dang it, dude. Yeah, Vivi. Vivi for sure. Vivi with them repeatedly recasting things from grave like Time Walk. Man. It's a bummer. LED gets sacked in the end steps. They have to, if they don't have enough cards in hand to kill me with their hand already, then they need to sack LED to fill the grave and then Time Walk again this turn. I guess they could play Nettle System and still do it. Oh my god. Yeah, no, we're dead. They crack LED, that's 3 cards in grave. They play Time Walk again. They have enough on board to kill me with 2 extra turns. Okay, they must already have enough in hand to kill me then, if they chose not to Time Walk again. Because LED plus 2 more cards, that's the 3 they need to escape and have 2 extra turns. Nettle Cyst on the Menace card. Big yikes. Take 1 less damage. Only legal blocks. Down to 5.
The Edge's technology serves one goal. My ascension! Even the smallest trinket.
Tezzeret finds a Skull Clamp. Oh god, go to 4. Vivi hasn't been activated yet. They have more than enough power to draw another 2, use the Vivi mana to kill me off of casting 4 more spells. Yep, there's 1.
I expect success.
What happened? Oh, Arena auto spent the VV mana for the re-equip. Oh, that's rough. So they wanted to like use Library and Talisman to re-equip Nettle Cyst onto VV, and then they could get like 14 mana and kill me there. Oh, we're so lucky. We are so lucky. Oh. Yeah, the fact that they had Time Walk on top of everything really like almost got us killed there, because if they cracked the LED to discard their last 2 cards in hand, they would have had Lion's Eye Diamond and their 2 cards in hand engrave, which is enough cards to have Time Walked again. So they definitely could have killed us with 2 combats there. So if they did that, we would have died. And then also if Arena didn't misclick them out of the VV mana, they certainly would have been able to cast 3 spells with 14 more mana. Oh my god. Can't believe we came through that alive, but I will take what I can get. We are 3-1 with mono black, or are we just 2-1 right now? Oh, they've been long games. We're only 2-1 with mono black. Count my wins before they've happened, but hopefully, fingers crossed, we can grab that 3rd win this game, and then I won't have been lying. All right, here we are for game number 4. With a Mox opener. Let's go. Just start attacking with Smuggler's Copter on turn 2 and setting up our draws. They got a Mox opener as well. Mox Jet, Spell Bomb, Island, Bobble. Just dump the whole hand out. Just draw land here. Okay, Cecil. It's time to crew up the copter. Find Caracas, sure. Blue-red from our opponent. Oh, shoot. Tinker Krang, which is indestructible, so I can't Bone Shards it. It's also haste. It's legendary, though. It's a legend, though. Hold up. Hold up, we got a chance. I think I want to flip Cecil here. I like a 4/4 lifelink. Oh, I guess they can just spell bomb Cecil. Yeah, maybe that was not worth it. Completely forgot about spell. I was too excited about getting the 4/4 Cecil. Doesn't even really matter. Just gets flipped right back. Chromatic Star. Hit a land. This is so awkward. I want to draw the card. I'm just drawing so many lands. It's better to draw a card than gain 4. Snuff Out's a good one. We have the mana to cast Snuff Out and activate Caracas. Ooh, Spell on the Copter. Cecil remains a lifelinker. Currency converter, so they can start drawing and discarding each turn. Balance to discard cards. Have to discard down to hand size 2 here. Am I just keeping Cecil Copter and that's it? That's so awkward. I kind of think I am, though. Maybe Copter Snuff Out. Play it a little safer. Yeah, I draw any creature, and I'm okay with Cecil being gone. Do I tap out of Caracas? I mean, their legend in hand is 9 mana, so sure. Stock up, excellent card draw. Look at the top 5, put 2 in the hand. They play a tap land for their turn. And they pass through. We find a land. Smuggle Copter in. Discard this land for something else. Attacked with the goat for fun, I guess. Ooh, Grief is a good one. Currency Converter is good against Grief. Oh, they're conceding anyway. So they're going to lose whatever I want. I get to make them discard whatever I want, but then they do get to exile it onto the Converter and get it back later. All right, that was a sweet game. That Caracas draw was absolutely pivotal. If it weren't for that, we would have just died to Krang within a turn or two. So Caracas was the absolute MVP there. Excellent, excellent stuff. And that was what I was talking about with Caracas, where it's like sometimes they reanimate something or tinker something, and if it's a legend, tough luck. It's now stuck in your hand again until like 10 or 12 turns later when you hit 9 mana. So really, really good work from Caracas. All right. Well, we can't keep 5 lands in a 2-mana Grizzlebrand, right? If we had Unburial Rites in this deck, maybe we could, but we don't have, like, I can't put a Reanimator spell in my grave to cast on Grizzlebrand. Besides, Grizzlebrand will be stuck in hand. Yeah, we have to mulligan. There's just a 5-lander with 2 cards that are combo pieces that don't do anything by themselves. Okay, this is a much better hand by itself. I think I'm going to ditch Blood Artist because it's the only creature in the hand, and I want to get to 4 mana for Shieldred. So turn 1, turn 2, turn 4. We can just play whatever we draw off Night's Whisper turn 3. World Spine Worm stuck in hand, so if they ever draw a flash, that's going to go crazy, but until then they have Talisman, Force Negation, Tezzeret. I'm just going to rip the Tezzeret out, because depending on how good their artifacts are, Tezzeret can be absolutely disastrous. If they pull out a Soul Ring with this, or a Mana Vault or something, Tezzeret is just RIP. Do you want to Force Negation or Night's Whisper? So we know they drew a blue spell if it was holding for them. They've got a blue spell here. They could force some negation. So let's just go Woe Strider into Shieldred. If I had a 2-mana creature to play, I would probably go 2-mana creature and then Entomb, trying to get them to force a negation. Just to 2-for-1 them, get rid of their force a negation and some other blue spell out of their hand. Snuff Out. Cool. Force a negation can't counter creatures, so just see if the other blue spell they drew is a full counter spell or not. Consult the star charts. It is not. Wouldn't mind too much if they force of will here. Yeah, they have to spend 2 cards to do it. Yeah, that is fine. Permanently get rid of their brain freeze. Straws are not good. Just gonna have to sack this goat at this point. Retrofitter Foundry blanks our attacks. They can make 4/4s very soon. And they could just chump forever already. By cast Entomb, I get rid of their Force of Negation, but I don't 2-for-1 them for it because they have the mana to just play it. So I think I wait to Entomb until they've tapped out for Retrofitter Foundry. World Spine Worm's not legendary. I think I can ditch Caracas. It's the only creature we know of that might come out is not a legend. This is a lot of lands in a clump. We just scried one away, found another one here. And I guess we can hardcast Crabomination now. We're getting close to hardcasting Grizzlebrand. I'm surprised that this actually does resolve. Yeah, we just put Vaultborn in grave because we never want to draw that. Alright, so now they go free chump, upgrade into a flyer. If I try to Liliana, they just tap 3 and force the negation to Liliana. Snuff out of 4/4. I gotta draw some stuff. Cecil is actually something. OG counterspell on Cecil. There's Jace the Mind Sculptor. Draw 3, put 2 back. They're brainstorming. We've still got a Force of Negation. It's just not revealed anymore because technically they could have put it back on top, but they would not do that. They don't have the mana to hardcast the Force of Negation, so I'm just going to run out Liliana here. If they want to exile 2 cards to get rid of Liliana, that's fine. So they have to exile a card from hand and discard the Force of Negation. They do not want to.
Happy to help.
So if
but
I
I'm taking the credit
minus
you win.
here, then I kill Jace if they don't have a way to bounce Woe Strider. Well, no, I just make them lose the servo. I lied. I get double Shredder triggers, though,
Haven't
which is
you
pretty
ever
good.
heard of personal space?
And they probably bounce Shredder. Yeah. Okay. Now we just start plussing Liliana every turn while we're empty-handed. That's not going to be good. Put a flash on top of their deck for their World Spine Worm. Yep, and then Brainstorm and flash out World Spine Worm. Man. We just drew a lot of duds for far too long here. Retrofitter Foundry was really, really good for our opponent. That card can really buy you a lot of time. See, now they just have 3 5/5s of trample. Off of Flash. Does buff the Super Shredder one more time. Holy Lands, Batman. Each player discards a card. Pass.
Don't overthink things.
Look at the top card. See that it is my 10th land in a row. Keep it on top. It's Ugin 2. Yeah, this game's over.
A delay.
Now they
Nothing
gain
more.
3 and draw a card each turn, so we don't even have a way to try to cheese them out for that last 7.
I will put an end to this conflict. Insight is vital to success.
It really is, wow. Yeah, there's no getting out of the Ugin at this point. That was a rough game. I think our opening hand was pretty good. We had a good first couple turns there, but we just sat there doing absolutely nothing for so long. It's a pretty early land clump. So 3-2 it is, heading into game number 6. Here we are for game 6. Reasonable opening hand. We'd much rather be on the play for turn 1 Inquisition, but can't control that. So we are on the draw. We're just going to turn 1 Inquisition them. Hope it is good enough, but if they've got a Mox or anything in their hand because they are on the play, we cannot stop them from doing that. Library of Alexandria. Okay, at least Inquisition's quite reasonable against that. They got Memory Lapse, Broadside Bombardiers. Just get rid of the Memory Lapse. They're playing off the top. Unfortunately, we've only drawn 3 drops. Ooh, they drew an instant immediately off the top. The top deck was Ancestral Recall to go to 7 cards in hand and then activate Library. Okay, Arena. Guess I'll lose. Oh my god, you can't make it up. 3-3, I guess. What a draw. Not a better draw in the history of Magic the Gathering for that turn. Out of the 20,000 plus cards that have been printed, that's the literal best one in the whole game that could have been on top of their deck. And they drew the mana drain off of it. I am more than happy to move on the next draft now. Yeah. I mean, there's bad beats. There's bad beats, and then there's Inquisition the Library player into Ancestral Recall. 3/3 it'll be. 3/3 is honestly about what I would expect out of this deck. Black is one of the weaker colors in the cube, probably the weakest color in the cube, so I don't think you should ever try to do mono black. The deck probably would have been a bit stronger at blue-black, maybe more of a 4/3 or 5/3 on average. See, I do expect this deck to be like a 3/3 on average, but I still think the ways that we lost our last couple games were kind of frustrating to deal with those two in a row. I mean, the second loss, I don't even know if we got like monumentally flooded. We certainly got a little bit flooded there, but it just felt like we weren't doing much for a really long time, just staring at our opponent, waiting for them to draw flash. So it wasn't like a particularly fun game of Magic. That last loss was particularly rough luck and particularly frustrating, though. Inquisition see their entire hand, know exactly what they have, shut off the library into the only card in the entire game that could possibly immediately turn the library back on and draw 3. Just wild stuff. Just wild stuff. But yeah, again, 3/3 I think is a perfectly respectable record for this. This is not the kind of deck that is going to go super far on average. We're playing a bunch of just random, dirtily, pretty bad black creatures that I don't think are very good in almost any deck, even when you do try to build the whole thing around them. Like, pretty much this whole stack of cards, I think, are just like the kind of aristocrat sacky stuff just doesn't pan out to be quite as strong as other stuff that is just single-handedly powerful. Like everything else in our deck, I think, is pretty great, but these kind of cards, even with their powers combined, trying to do synergistic things, were just not that good. So I don't recommend trying to do aristocraty stuff or super heavy black stuff in this cube because there's just way too many cards that are stronger than your cards, even when you don't like synergize with them. Like cards that you can just single-handedly cast and be like, well, this card's really good by itself, no matter what my other cards do. Versus like if I have Blood Artist and Warren Soul Trader together or something like that, it's like these end up being pretty good, but still weaker than a lot of the other cards are by themselves. So, all right. 3/3 it'll be. Wild way to end it, but at least we got a 50-50 run with a goofy little deck here doing some mono black nonsense. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and are interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send us more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. And other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.